All right, Marty, thank you. 6:42. Every year, right around this time, local musicians are inducted into the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. This year's ceremony is happening this Sunday. We will go live now to Chris Lopez. He's downtown at the Hall of Fame headquarters this morning, meeting some of the inductees. Chris?
Hey, good morning, Abby. Yes, Rochester Music Hall of Fame headquarters. I'm around some legends right now. Scott Mayo to my left. He's worked with a few people, Jay-Z, Beyonce, shook hands, worked with Paul McCartney. The man to my right is Jack Whittier. He's the president, El Presidente. He runs the show. I do want to talk to Scott first, and I do want to ask, I want to know, how does it feel? You've been Grammy nominated. Now you are going to be inducted in the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. How does it feel?
It feels great. It really does. It feels great. It's an honor. It's an honor to be amongst so many great artists, and it's an honor to have been raised here, and now I'm in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of crazy, actually.
What do you think that this does for the Rochester music scene? Knowing musicians that are up and coming, they know that, okay, I can be honored here locally. This is a mid-sized town, but this is a great event. What do you feel that this does for the community of music here in Rochester?
I hope that what it does is to show people that you can be from here and go on and do great things with your life. Just because you're from a smaller city, that doesn't mean that you can't do great things. I was from here, and look at the stuff that I've done, and look at the stuff that all of us have done. I think it's been great. So
that's like the beautiful. That's what I was looking for right there. If Scott can do it, essentially, you can do it too.
Absolutely.
And then, Mr. Whittier, you were the vice president when this started. Now you've moved on to president. How have you seen this event grow throughout the time? I believe it's been 2012 when it started. We're in 2024. A lot of inductees.
This is our 11th induction class. We've inducted 61 people before this year, so we'll add 7 more this year. The event keeps growing and growing, and what's really cool about it is every show is a little bit different, and you're probably going to come and hear something that you've never heard before, because we have such a wide array of music genres that are represented from this class, and pretty much every class. So it's really exciting.
And how can people find out more about who's being inducted? I believe there's 61, and people can attend this event. How can people find out more about it?
Okay, if you go to our website, rochestermusic.org, first of all, click the Get Tickets and be there Sunday night, because you're not going to want to miss this show, 7 o'clock, Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. But we've got a lot of information about all of our past inductees and our inductees this year. You can learn all about the great musicians that have made Rochester just a real music hotbed over the years.
There we go, happening on Sunday, 7 o'clock. I'm going to continue my conversation with Scott Mayo in the next hit, kicking it back to you in studio. Should be a good time this Sunday. Cinco de Mayo, too.
Yes.
Another good day. Abby, back to you.
Chris, thank you very much. 6:45, let's get to meteorologist Marty Snyder with a check of our forecast. Marty. 7:07, and happening this Sunday, the Eastman Theater will host the latest class to be inducted into the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. This morning, we're getting a closer look at some of the inductees and the big upcoming event. Chris Lopez is live at the Rochester Music Hall of Fame headquarters with more for us this morning. Chris, what is going on over there?
You hear that? You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Scott Mayo, musician, composer, producer, has worked with Paul McCartney, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Earth, Wind & Fire. I do want to ask, when you were growing up, and music was always in your blood, correct?
Yep.
Did you believe you'd get this far? Did you have that kind of confidence?
I did. I had Earth, Wind & Fire on my ceiling. The posters were on my ceiling, so I kept telling people, someday I'm going to play with them, and I'm going to write 3 songs for them, and it actually happened.
Wait, this is real?
This is real, yeah, it was real. And so I actually played in the band, and I wrote 3 songs, but it was on my ceiling, so I would look at them every single morning, every night.
That is the confidence you need right there, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter what you do, you need that kind of confidence. Now, when if you were younger, growing up, same thing. And with all the success that you have now, working with everyone and all of the accomplishments you have done, what would you have told yourself, knowing now, younger Scott Mayo, what would you have told yourself for musicians that are watching this or that are going to be at the Rock Music Hall of Fame seeing you go up there? What would you have told yourself?
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid and work hard. Just work hard and stay flexible, but work. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
I always, just don't be afraid. I love that. Same thing when I'm going into hits. Just don't be afraid. Just go fearless. How was it growing up? You grew up in Elmira. That's not a huge place to grow up in, but now you're in LA now. Talk about that transition. What was it like growing up there?
Well, I was born in Elmira, then I moved here. And so most of my musical development was here in Rochester. And for me, this town was full of music. Like everywhere I went, it was full of music. In fact, when I tell people the kind of childhood I had here, they don't believe it. I can see that they think I'm lying because like nobody grew up like that. I'm like, no, there was music everywhere in this city. So for me, it was a great place to be raised, and I love being, raised here musically. It was fantastic.
Does some of that influence, the Rochester influence, continue to play a role in what you do today?
I think so, yeah. I mean, for me, it was that I grew up around so many sincere musicians that just no matter what style of music they played, they meant it. So I think that sort of has stuck with me to this day. No matter what I do, I just try to be honest and sincere.
Was there someone that maybe mentored you or gave you a piece of advice here that kind of carried through into your career?
My high school teacher was the greatest influence, Roger Eckers. And we went on to become great friends, and he was the greatest musical influence in my life, especially here. He was amazing.
What would he tell you?
It wasn't as much what he told me, but he was an example of what it was to be a professional musician. And he played a lot of different instruments, so he really sort of showed me as a role model, like, if you want to do this, you have to play a lot of instruments and you have to play them well. And so that's what I got from him. He was amazing.
That's beautiful advice right there. Roger Eckers?
Roger Eckers, yeah.
Roger Eckers, I hope you're watching. You played a major role in this man's career.
He passed away a couple years ago, and I'm hoping to get him in the Hall of Fame soon. But he was an amazing human being. He really was. He was great.
That's just beautiful stuff right there. Roger Eckers, rest in peace right there. Can you play us out, though, into commercial?
Sure.
Just beautiful. Chris Lopez reporting for us live this morning. We appreciate it. Just beautiful, beautiful music coming there from the Hall of Fame headquarters. 7:11, here's what's coming up on Good Day Rochester as we continue through 9 o'clock. All right, Marty, thank you very much. 8:03. For over a decade, the Rochester Music Hall of Fame has honored and inducted many legends. This Sunday will be no different. The Eastman Theater will host the 61 new inductees for the class of 2024. Chris Lopez is live at the Rochester Music Hall of Fame headquarters this morning, getting a preview of what we can expect this weekend. Chris, we've heard from some amazing musicians. Who are you going to introduce us to now?
Right now, I'm going to introduce you to Jack Whittier, who is the president. We may get into some legends next, but I do want to briefly reiterate what's going to be happening on Sunday. Jack Whittier is the president here. So what can people look forward to? And I believe tickets are still on sale. Get your tickets.
Yeah, so go to our website, rochestermusic.org. Click the Get Tickets button. It'll take you right to the Eastman box office. We've got our 11th induction ceremony Sunday night, 7 p.m., Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. We got great lineup. It's going to be an awesome night of music.
And is there going to be live performances there by some of these?
A lot of live music. So less talk, more music. You're going to probably get 2 hours of music from 7 amazing inductees.
Speaking of inductees, I'll be talking to, wait, what? Is he over here? Nice switch up right there. I am talking to not the poster, the real man, John Ellison, lead singer of the Soul Brother Six and creator of Some Kind of Wonderful, a legendary song. It has been covered 70 times, roughly.
Exactly, yep.
How do you feel every time someone does a cover or takes inspiration from your work?
Well, Chris, the only way I can put it, it's an honor, and I think when I first wrote that song and recorded it, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that it would have been covered by so many artists. It's a blessing for me, and like I said, it's just I think my song is a contribution to the world. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, I got married because of your song, or, I met this lady because of your song. It's humbling. for me.
And you're still rocking it out as a musician.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't retire, which I love to interview people
What's the meaning of retire?
Yeah, see, exactly. Some people retire from reporting or from being an advisor of some sort, but you're still going.
Oh, yeah.
Where does that inspiration come from to keep going?
Well, I'm music at heart, and I'm always coming up with phrases, ideas about songs. I mean, I'm music, and actually, I have a new album that was just released January 26th of this year, and it's doing amazing. Actually, there is also an updated version of Some Kind of Wonderful on it.
And how does it feel? I do want to know.
Okay.
All the legendary work you've put in, how does it feel to be awarded here in Rochester, where you grew up?
It's an honor, and I thank the Rochester Music Hall of Fame for this honor to bring me into the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. All of the members of Soul Brother 6, which was the group that first recorded Some Kind of Wonderful, we're all from Rochester, just young musicians with a vision and a dream.
And you're going to be performing on stage.
Yes.
What songs are you going to be playing, just so people can have a preview to it?
Well, we're going to do Some Kind of Wonderful, of course. I also have a song that's really getting a lot of focus. It's a song that I wrote called If I Had Just One Wish. And I wrote that song because I think what the world needs is a lot of love. So I wrote a song about if I had just one wish, I wish the whole world could live in peace and harmony.
And you got a wonderful voice. Can you sing us into commercial, please?
Sure. If I had one wish, this is what it would be. I'd wish the whole world could live in peace and harmony. There'd be no more wars. There'd be no more hate. I'd make this world a better place. I'd make this world great if I had just one wish.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, Chris Lopez, you are surrounded by talent this morning. If I had one wish, it'd be that he could join us in studio and sing us to commercial break. It's 8:09. Coming up next, we're getting a preview of the upcoming performance being debuted this weekend by a local playwright. Stick around. We're back after this.